For greatest common factor, I had found a few different ways to go ahead and find the greatest common factor of something, because normally I just do this in my head, but I have found that students have some troubles with this, or maybe like struggling with it. So just some other ways. So one, they give you the divisibility rules, which I thought was kind of interesting to help you. They define what factors are. Two factors are multiplied together to get a product. So if I went to the factors of 32, 1 times 32, 2 times 16, and 4 times 8. All of those are factors of 32. Down here it gives you 3 methods to find the GCF. And so here they use the factor tree, okay, of 2 numbers, 15 and 40. And they found that in the end of the branches we had a 3 and a 5 for 15. And then we had a 2, 2, 2, 5 for 40. So what do they have in common? Look at the numbers they have in common, which is a 5 and a 5. So the greatest common factor is 5 here. Another way is the factors of 15. They can list them out: 1 times 15, 3 times 5. Factors of 40, 1 times 40, 2 times 20, 4 times 10, and 8 times 5. And see like what is in common there. And it looks like a 5 again, right? Like 1, 3, 5, 1, 2, 4, 5. Okay, so 5s are again in common, and it's the only thing they have in common besides the 1. So the GCF here is 5 again. The other one I thought was interesting, I've never seen before, is called the ladder method, or also known as the upside down birthday cake method. And then so this cake, in this one we're going to practice a few examples that I gave you guys. So on the second page, I'm just going to show you how to set it up. Okay, so you have your 2 numbers, 4 and 8. And I want to know what the greatest common factor of 4 and 8 is. But let's say you don't know. You don't know that 4 can go into both of those. Then you place your 4 and your 8, and you do this upside down, like backwards L thing, okay? And I figure out what number divides into 4 and 8 evenly. And I know that 2 can. So I divide. So 2 goes into 4, or you could say 4 divided by 2 is 2. And 8 divided by 2, or 2 goes into 8, 4 times. Okay, so then I do it again. Can anything divide into 2 and 4 evenly? Yes, 2 can. So 2 goes into 2 1 time, 2 goes into 4 2 times. Okay, then I do it again. What goes into 1 and 2? 1. So 1 divided by 1, 1 divided by 2, we're back to where we got. So these 3 numbers we multiply together. And 2 times 2 times 1 is 4. So my greatest common factor of 4 and 8 is 4. Okay, so let's try with 21 and 24. So 21 and 24. I know that 21 is not even, so 2 can't go into that, but I know 3 can. And 3 can also go into 24. So let's try 3. So 3 goes into 21 7 times. 3 goes into 24 8 times. Okay? What goes into 7 and 8? Well, 1 can. And 7 divided by 1 is 7. And 8 divided by 1 is 8. Okay, so now, these 2 numbers I multiply together. And that's 3. So my greatest common factor of 21 and 24 is 3. In letter C, we have 56 and 72. Now, some of you might recognize that, oh, 8 can go into 56. And 72, 8 can go into 72 evenly. But let's say you don't know that. I know that they're both even numbers. So I know that 2 can go into 56 and 76. Okay? And if you look at the divisibility rules here, it says for dividing by 2, the last digit is even. And we have 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. And so here, because they're both even, I can divide by 2. So if I divide 56 by 2, we get 28. And 72 divided by 2 is 36. Okay? Again, those are even numbers. Okay? So we can do 2 again. So 2 goes into 28 14 times, and 2 goes into 36 18 times. Okay, so 14 and 18. Well, I know 2 can go into 14 and 18. They're both even. So 2 goes into 14, 7. 2 goes into 18, 9. And at this point, we have a 1. Well, if you look up here, we saw that if we divide by 1, we get the same answer as the line above, right here. So we know that if we divide by 1, we're going to get 7 and 9 again. So these 4 numbers, we need to multiply. 2, 2, 2, 1. And if I multiply those together, we get 8. All right, now, for the ones with the variables, what I do is I look at the x to the third x squared, okay? Here I've got 3 x's. Here I have 2 x's. If I have 3 x's and I have 2 x's, how many x's are in common? 1, 2. So I know that my GCF has to have an x squared on it, okay? Another thing you could say is if both terms have an x, it is your lowest x value. So x squared is my lowest x. That's my GCF. Plus they have 2 in common. So now my 18 and my 20. Both are even, so I'm going to use 2. 2 goes into 18 9 times, and 2 goes into 20 10 times. 1 is the only number that can go into 9 and 10 evenly. So 2 times 1 is 2.